Alright, what's up guys? A couple weeks ago I'd say, I posted a picture on Facebook of my water thermometer, letting everybody know that I started hibernating. And I got quite a few questions and concerns, I guess, on whether they should or should not hibernate. And that's kind of what this video is going to be about. It's going to be a pretty boring video to watch. So if you don't have any plans on hibernating the video, you might want to leave now, because this might be a longer video with nothing to watch. But this is my breeder pond. I've got my two albinos. You can see them in the corner. First I want to go over why I chose to hibernate them and why it's good for them. Hibernating is natural. It's not going to be bad for them. These guys have never hibernated, and this is probably a month and a half in, and they're fine. You can hibernate incorrectly if you don't know what you're doing, and it can kill them. So try to pay attention on what I'm saying, and this is how I'm doing it, and it's been pretty successful so far. I'll let you guys know whenever they come out of hibernation. But the reason I'm hibernating them is because I'm breeding them, right? When turtles are inside of an enclosed habitat, they don't get any type of weather changes. They don't know whether it's winter, summer, spring, whatever. So in the wild, they get all the weather changes, and what they need is to breed. They normally breed after winter and spring, or sometimes during winter. They'll breed in the wild, and so this really, how do I say it, lets them know when the seasons are, and lets me know when to expect some eggs, because if they're not hibernating, you never really know when you're going to get eggs, because you never really know what month they are on as a breeder. Now, I would not hibernate under about 7 inches, because I've been told, I don't know whether it's true or not, I don't even think he knows whether it's completely true or not, that something with the growth plates lock up, and they really slow down growing. So if you look in here, whoops, I took my larger caramel out, and they're in this 55 really dirty water. Actually, I was not expecting to show you guys these, but they're feeding now. That's the other caramel that I got. It's really getting big. Anyway, so when you're breeding, you want the biggest turtle you can, right? They can hold more eggs. That's the main thing. You want the most eggs, as much turtles as you can produce. So I kept her in there where I probably could have bred her this year. I chose not to, because she's going to grow bigger within this next year as she would have if she didn't hibernate, and she could probably hold more eggs. Plus, I don't have a male for her, so that was another deciding factor as why I didn't hibernate her either. But I probably will next year. I've got my little sucker fish down there. He's actually really big. He doesn't look too big. I think that block is 2 feet by 2 feet, the square. So he's pretty big. Anyway, so yeah, that's why you want to hibernate. Puts them in the seasons. It really helps with the fertility of the eggs. So you're going to get more numbers. If you look at my numbers last year, I hatched 30 eggs, or my turtles laid 30 eggs, and I only hatched 4. There's a couple reasonings behind that. It wasn't just because I didn't hibernate, but that's not something I really want to go over right now. This video is going to be long enough. But so yeah, that's why you want to hibernate them. You really only want to do it if you're a breeder. If you're just keeping turtles for a hobby or just for fun, whatever. There's no need for you to hibernate. If they're outdoors, you're obviously they're gonna have natural hibernation. But if you can also take them indoors for a couple months before the water, gets really cold. Because 50 degrees, it doesn't seem like it's cold, but that water's cold. If I dip my finger in there, it is cold. I can promise you that. But the way you start out hibernation is you really want to plan out how you're gonna feed, how you're gonna just do some certain stuff that I'm going to go over, because if they have food inside of their stomach, when their metabolism and stuff slows down during hibernation, the food's going to rot inside of them. It's going to rot inside of them, it's going to kill them. So you really have to be careful what you're doing. One thing I want to go over is, if you're not keeping your turtles outdoors, you're going to have some type of climate change and something to force that climate change. And for me, it's the window. might be hard to see, but I've got the window open. All that area right there on the right side is all open. I've got outside air coming in, and that's what's cooling this entire room. And another thing is, you're going to want to have, you know, your doors and stuff closed, because you can't have your entire house being freezing. And I've got heaters right outside both of these doors, so any cold air that does get out, then they get heated like pretty quickly. My basement stays really, really warm, other than this room, which is quite cold. So yeah, that's how I get the room to be a little bit colder. Something that you want to do is slow down the feeding. So you don't just stop the feeding. And nothing can just stop eating for whatever. You have to slow it down. So my turtles stayed at about 80 to 83 degrees without the, when the heater going during the normal months. But I slow it down every time I drop the temperature. I slowed down the heater back there. It's still in there, just in case I need it for some reason if it gets too cold. But it's unplugged. It's not working at all. So yeah, as you slow down the temperature, then you want to slow down their feeding. And when they get to the 60-degree range is when they should not have any more food. So before the temperatures hit in the 60s, or in the low 60s, I should say, the high 50s to low 60s, I'd say 58 to 62, somewhere in that range, you're gonna want to. They're gonna want to not have been eaten for at least 5 days. It was for me. I would try to go a little bit slower. I'd say about a week before the temperature gets to that degree. But another thing you want to note is, in the winters, the lights get a little bit darker. The lights, you know, with the time change, your time is going to be, I don't know what I'm trying to say, I don't know how to word it, but your nights are a lot longer. Your daytime is a lot shorter. So I've got my bulbs, they are not on. Throughout the entire winter, they will not be on. They're not going to be, they might be up there basking. I caught one up there a little bit ago because the weather was a little bit warmer. It was like 58 or so. So they were kind of up there, but don't worry, they don't need basking when they're hibernating. So I never even keep my lights on. That's where the sun sets in the morning, or the sun rises in the morning. So they get some morning sun, and that's when I caught them up here. But don't worry, it might be normal to see them hibernate, or not hibernate, but bask up in the lights. But don't worry, you don't need to turn them on. They'll be fine. So there's the lights. The temperatures you want to keep about, I want to say 48 to 52 is what I want to say. I try to not let them go below 48. They've hit 48 a couple times, and that's when I close the window, or not the window, the window. Wow, it's blurry. I'm not even focusing on my camera. I'm just kind of talking. You should see my hands right now. I'm a talker with my hands. I like to, obviously you can't see that. Anyway, yeah, so am I missing anything? You keep them in for a couple months. I may or may not do another thing that's really important. You should not be touching them. You should not be moving them. They should not be, they should hardly ever even see you. They see me about once or maybe twice a day when I close the window at night because it gets really cold. That really depends on where you live, because I don't know how cold it's going to be for the winter where you guys are in the night versus the day, because it can drop. But you want to shorten the drops. You don't want, like, in the morning to be 52, and then when the sun comes up, it to raise to 59, because that's just not good for them. That could put them in shock, and that could also kill them. But speaking of shock, that's what I'm saying. If you're touching them, if you're moving them, that kind of stuff, that could put them in shock, wake them up from hibernation, and that could also kill them. Now, one thing I want to note is this is not really true hibernation. The water is not cold enough to be true hibernation. They're not going to be like completely asleep and not moving for the entire winter. They're just going to be at a slowed down state. You've probably seen him walk over once or twice to the female and walk back. It's not a true hibernation. I'm set in case it is a true hibernation. I've got two power heads. I've got that one. I've got that one back there. It's kind of hard to see. And then I've got my pond obviously coming up. So the water is being circulated at all times. So the water can't freeze over, because if the water freezes over, they obviously can't come up and get air, and they're obviously going to die. Yeah, I don't think I'm missing anything. If I do miss anything, I will try to comment or Yeah, I'll probably just comment or put in the description if I'm missing anything. Don't feed during hibernation. I know I told you to slow down the feeding. Obviously, you're going to want to feed them because these guys haven't eaten in months. I've felt the urge to like want to feed them because, you know, they sit in this corner for hours and hours and hours and you think they're dead. But I can't go down there and touch and make sure she's dead or alive because it could kill her. It could wake her up and it could kill her. So you'll want to do something to encourage the movement and maybe put food at the top and see if they'll swim to it. But I really just don't do that because if they get food in them, they will rot inside of them and they will die. Hibernation is not something to joke with your breeders. And again, I would only recommend hibernating if you plan to breed your turtles this next season. And breeding your turtles, and just because you can hibernate does not mean that you can breed your turtles, because you have to know what you're doing when you're incubating the eggs and that kind of stuff. Now, that's not hard. You can research that, but it's obviously a little late now to start hibernating. But if you don't know anything about, incubating eggs, keeping the babies, that kind of stuff, or if your turtles are even breedable, if you can even breed your two turtles together, or if they're big enough to breed, I would really recommend waiting until next year, researching this stuff a little bit more, and get yourself prepared for it instead of kind of a rushed situation. I kind of waited about a week long to get these guys, or a week late. I got these guys started a week late, and I kind of had to rush the little feeding thing where I'm slowing down the feeding. But if you guys have any questions, just let me know. I don't think I forgot anything. You want to have about 100 gallons of water. It's a lot harder to freeze over when you have a lot of water. I've got about 135 in here, I think. So that's always nice. If you never saw my pond video, there's a video about me making this pond, how I did it, what I used. I'll link both those videos in the description. There's the materials and the build part of it. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you for coming in, and let me know if you have hibernated your turtles or if you plan on hibernating your turtles. I'm really interested in see on who actually does this kind of stuff. So I will catch you guys later, and have a good day.